Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Deep Blue Renegade podcast. My name is Molly, also known as Deep Blue Renegade, and I'd like to welcome you guys to episode 370. Today is Saturday, May 22nd, 2021, and I'm glad you could join me today. I am tired. I'm recording a bit later than I would usually like, because we ended up building and then filling bookshelves in the office. So we think we managed to unpack like 18 boxes into the bookshelves. So would it be, we will have to think a little bit later about if we want, or would it be how badly we want to keep some of the stuff. Like, it's one thing when there's room, it's a different thing when there's not room. So I might go through and take some of the, what would it be, stuff that I'm probably not going to read and send it along, I think. What would it be? But it is the case where it was really nice because we very quickly realized we needed to raise at least, or I think we ended up uniformly raising the whole bottom row of the bookshelf just because we needed more room. And I'm really excited with the fact that we got, like, the bottoms have doors, so that is also really good as well. But it was a lot of hard work. It oftentimes feels easier to pack the books and get everything all neat and orderly than it is to figure out, do I even still want this? I probably still want most of it. There's definitely like a whole series of books where I just need to read them through all the way, but whatever. I'm not going to be too worried about that right now. So I've got my teacup out and I'm drinking jasmine tea, what would it be, which is pretty good, all things considered, because it's like 5. We're nearly 5. So today also started earlier than usual, because, what would it be? So the Fun Onions, who I mention periodically, we're having a meetup in the morning at a time which could be also convenient for people in Europe. And then we're having a meeting in the evening, which will be, would it be convenient for our, would it be, our lone New Zealand member. So, would it be, we're trying to make it work. It's a little bit inconvenient for East Coast people, but so I haven't put too many rows on this week. Hopefully it's not just because it's like totally a bunker size. But I am definitely crowded now on the needle. That's not necessarily a bad thing for brioche unless it starts trying to pop off. But it does mean that I can't probably properly assess. I'm probably at wingspan now. So this is the center, and then if I hold it at my chest, then it's not too crazy of a stretch there. In terms of like straight up rows, I did actually manage to do quite a few. So if I'm to believe that this marker is where I left off last week, I have done, I just finished my 4th increase row on this, which is probably 13 total rows. It would be, and this is gonna end up being a fairly slow project, so I managed to sit down, weigh all of my yarn, figure out where I was at in terms of yarn usage. I was about halfway on my last, when I brought in the final colors, so this means that my blocks can't be as big anymore, because then I would be using, I would run out of the last color. And I do like the last color, so. But I haven't gotten like super quantitative on it. I just spent like a little. It was more like trying to maximize how much fading I was doing and then pull back on the would it be pull back on the solid sections, so the 2 color sections. So I have more 4 color sections, less 2 color sections, because I like how the color plays with that. It's definitely my more entertaining project. So this is With the Fade, which is an Andrea Mallory pattern. I am no longer following the pattern. I'm simply continuing the first section. So this is the cool side, and this is the warm side. So I'm just started to do straight up 2 color rows again. So I am out of the fading and into into a solid block again. And the only thing I really need to decide on at this point is if I want to slowly make the block smaller, because I definitely have the most of this. So I had, when I last weighed, I had about 85 grams a piece of these. So it'd be the case where I had like 85 a piece of this. I had like, I think 65 a piece of this. And then I had 55 of this, but I did a couple more rows. So what would it be? It might be like 80, 65, and 50 at this point, but I haven't weighed. And I'll probably, when I break the yarn for these, I'll actually rewind them because they are starting to get a little bit sloppy. And then I'll probably rewind this guy too, because the gold one I accidentally pulled from the outside and it's a much tighter cake, so whatever. And we'll see whether or not I end up bringing in the, if I end up bringing in the blue, the ice skating party and the firecracker again for the very end. We'll see. Or if I do some fading, or there are certainly options to be had. So coming along nicely. This is Stranded Dye Works Merino Singles in the Ice Skating Party Naive Watercolor and Blue Rinse colorways on the cool side, and then Firecracker, Orange Tabby, and Patisserie on the warm side. So it is definitely my more interesting project, but I have ulterior motives. So the first thing I'll try to pick up when I sit down to knit is actually my sweater. So, and the reason for that is the sooner I get to the ribbing on this bad boy, the sooner I can get this set of needles onto, it's tangled. The sooner I can get this set of needles onto my V-neck boxy. This may not work, so I have this on the yarn caddy right now just so I don't have, what would it be, so I'm not annoyed. Uh-oh. Okay. I was frozen, and that didn't seem to be a very good state of affairs. So it'd be the case where this is the first thing that I pull out, but what would it be? It's very good knitting and standing in line knitting. It is, would it be, not engaging enough for knit night right now. Perfectly fine for knitting in the dark, but I just want to get it over with. So I've knit about as much as I have last week. So you can see this marker is where I was 2 weeks ago, and this red guy is where I am now. So I've done about as much as I did before. But would I have a tape measure out? Should I have a tape measure out? Maybe. I have my bin of intentions out, so there is that. Alrighty, date. So I got like another 2.25 inches knit this week. I got, what would it be? Closer to 2 3/4 inch knit last week, so apparently it is an illusion. And like from this perspective, it looks like I'm not doing too bad. So I've got like 8 done on the body. So what would it be? It'll probably, I guess, be another week before I can get the needles swapped. And that's if I can sit down and focus on it, but who knows? And good news, because of the upcoming Memorial Day holiday, I actually have Memorial Day off, which does make sense. But then I also have the Friday before Memorial Day off as well. So the plan is to have a very happy day of crafting. I am very excited about this, and my nose is going a little crazy because we stirred up a lot of dust. I'm just not happy about this nonsense. So I still have supposedly 3 more inches to go before I start the ribbing. I probably will end up knitting a little bit thicker of ribbing than is called for. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where I'm at when I get there. There's still plenty of time. I really do like how the knitting worked up on the sleeves on the 000, so I might just repeat that. And there might be a certain amount of hilariousness with getting everything transferred and balanced out on everything. But because I'm going to have upcoming vacation time, it should be really nice to, what would it be, dig in and have a giant flying party and figure out where I'm at and that sort of thing. So it is looking really good for wrapping up this sweater sometime in the next couple of weeks. And then I can begin focusing on fixing my boxy. But I need to unblock my needle situation. I do not want to steal needles from this to work on that. That isn't my way. So it'd be the case where, why yes, I could. I could also purchase more needles so that I could I might even own a set of fixed 3mm needles somewhere in the stash. It would involve maybe a little bit of digging and sorting. I sort of need to take all of the stuff in my, I need to like take all the stuff in my drawers and figure out like a better organization system for it. I added like a lot of camera accoutrements, and I don't know whether or not that was worth the space it took up. But whatever, we'll work through it. It'll be okay. So I don't know. So not too much more on this, not an unreasonable amount more before I get to do something different. So that should be very exciting. I'm definitely in the mood to veg right now. You know, I might have to do one ridiculous cooking feat. It's starting to come off the needles. Should fix that before putting it to it for a bit. So this is the Hinterland, which is a Jen Steingass pattern. It is, I'm knitting it out of Three Waters Farm background blue as the main color, and then Nestlets as the contrast color. And what would it be? I spun the Nestlets like Spin Cycle, so with the goal of getting sort of a crazy marl color change effect, and in that regard I have most definitely succeeded. The blue and the warm tones don't have as much contrast as I think I would usually like for a colorwork sweater, but I think it's still pretty. It's certainly got hue contrast, even if it doesn't have value contrast. And the sleeves are all done. I will still need to weave in ends, but that shouldn't be too crazy. And really it's just a matter of working away on the body. And it isn't like the project that I'm going to be working on next after this is going to be that much different, because it too is a horrifying amount of stockinette around until victory. Probably more stockinette in the round than before. Oh, it'll be fine. That's why I need to be like motivated by imaginary points, because I would have been unhappy with it for a long time but not done anything about it. So I have basically a bin of stash dash plans down here, because we are in the weekend right before stash dash. So we have the V-neck boxy on my Shagun knee needles for the purpose of picking up, and a rather large ball of yarn. So this is everything from, or whatever. So there, at the core of this is the gray, which I used for the ribbing, and then the rest of this is basically like a whole skein of blue. And I think that these were 50-gram skeins, so there's probably 100 grams of wool, and I don't know how much of the mohair silk. There might just be 25 grams of mohair silk, but it's going to be quite a lot of knitting for this, but it will be worth it in the end. And then I did end up pulling out of circulation my fingerless mitts. This is probably my most worn object. I keep them in the pocket of my coat, but I don't know if you can see, but the bind off burst on one of the fingers. So I'll go through and do like a check to make sure everything else is solid, which I think it is. And then I'll just rip out rip out the bind off, re-knit the bind off again, and proceed on my merry way. So, what it be? I can definitely see how the pointer finger was probably the most likely one to have burst, because I'm guessing that's probably the toughest wear location on this. So, that should be a really fast fix. That might be something that I do next Friday, bright and early. I need to win early. And it's possible I might be forced to commit to a team much earlier than usual this year. Normally I wait, or normally I have like would it be like a holding spot where I sort of put down everything that I'm doing, and then when victory is assured, I'll post in the very end once I finish the last thing I can finish in the time frame. But I don't think that's going to work out this time, because Dash Bash is happening on Discord. They're just sort of different, there's a different logic to the posting of it. So you can't go back and edit a post. You can only have one picture per post. So there's going to be some strangeness. I haven't watched the rules video yet. Perhaps that's out now. But what that leads into is I did end up finishing my next spin, or I ended up finishing another set of singles. So here are my lighter blue and gray, and here is my darker blue and gray, and you can see that they are lighter and darker. I don't know, there might be some shadow nonsense going on here. So I'll start chain plying from this guy, and then lead into this. What would it be? So this is Leicester long wool and Dorset horn. The Leicester long wool is good clean fiber from Clemis and Clemis, and the Dorset horn is from the 1764 Shepherdess, and she is the hostess of my Friday night knitting and spinning makers group. Knitting, spinning, weaving, it's a little bit of everything there. So what would it be? And then next Friday I'll be hostess with the mostess for that, so that should be good. So got this, which isn't too crazy. Would it be? There is a little bit, or there's going to be sort of like gray spots every time I transition from a one ounce bat to another, but it shouldn't be too crazy. So finished all of the singles for this. Would it be? I don't even know if you can. Yeah, I'm far enough away from the camera that I don't think you'll get too much detail from the bobbin. Yeah, it's a little bit dark. But all of these singles are done and ready to go. And then I think I already showed my other finished singles, so it might be that it's going to be days of playing. But it will be good to have finished yarn, so that's fine. And the last thing, or would it be the case, so finished enough that project. And so what I have going on right here is my final spin the bin project. So the Leicester wool was a part of my spin the bin. So this is my final spin the bin fiber. This is a fiber optic gradient in the ink to powder colorway. And it was the oldest braid in the stash. So it was finally time to use it. And it is totally my color jam, so I'm not too unhappy about it. But because it had been in the stash for a pretty long time, it was braided up in its packaging. I did take the time to actually steam it. So I basically got my kettle on my stove boiling, and then I just passed the fiber by in order to fluff it up. So that is one way that you can use, like I've done it before for unkinking yarn as well. But it'd be nice to just have a straight up steamer yeah, just been gun shy about getting another thing. So it has a very light blue, and then it gets darker, and actually would be the darkest part is very, very dark indeed. So right now I'm sort of in this, like, probably, so this counts as like sky blue. We're just like a little bit darker than sky blue here. And then we can see a little bit of, there's a lot of chaos going on here. Okay. There's still a lot of chaos going on here. Okay. No. Dear. It's very untrustworthy right now. It does not want to turn this way. But you can see here, this is sort of the navy blue that we started with, which was the ink. And then we're heading to the powder blue, which I've shown you in paper form. And you can sort of see how it's a little bit deeper here than it is here. So we're definitely in the midst of a color change right now. And my current plan is to chain ply it. So this is what people normally do with fiber optic gradients. I've been a rebel. And I've taken the gradient, split the fiber in half, and spun it as a 2-ply twice. And then I took 2 separate gradients, spun them end to end, and then plied them together as a 2-ply. So there's that. It is quite possible that what I'm going to do at the end is, or what I'm thinking about doing is, like making a hat that highlights its gradient nature. Would it be? It's like the great debate, because my favorite hat, the one hat to rule them all, did end up getting like a little bit sun faded. So now it's the case where it's sort of like, do I just wear the hat in a way where I can sort of just get the whole outside of it evenly sun faded, or I'm not entirely sure what I want to do, or if it's just a lost cause. But the short answer is the inside is a different color than the outside. And the part where I had my broom folded is a different color than, oh well. So I can definitely see how having a replacement hat, which is totally blue, could be a lovely sort of thing. And maybe it's time to make a tense field for myself that I actually keep. We shall see. I would probably keep it sort of in the spirit of like the Fluffed stuff, which is also what would be something I'm participating in. So, hand-spun sweaters, part of Fluffed stuff, all of the spinning I've made counts as Fluffed stuff. You can see that project counting as Fluffed stuff. So, plenty going on. Would it be the shawl and the other sweater won't count. But I think I've done a pretty, good job of finding finding ways in order to make that count. And then it's unclear at this point, like what direction I'm heading in after that. It might be the case where I just work monogamously on the boxy until it's cleared, and then decide if I want to do like another hand-spun project or not. Like I can definitely, or would it be? It could be the case where what will come, or what's going to be upcoming, is going to be the fog hat. So you can watch the fog roll in. I don't know, we're sort of in an intermediate stage of fog right now. But it could be the case where I do the fog hat next, and because that is very explicitly, I've had a very specific creative vision for that, and I need to do it. As you do. And then the other conundrum that I have, which maybe I just don't need to worry about it until until I flush out all of this flying that I've left for myself to do, but I need to figure out like what my next spinning project's going to be. So I have 2 more braids of fiber optic that have been marinating in the stash for quite a long time. So then the question is, do I want to spin those together in order to make yarn for like a really big shawl, or accept the fact that I have an awful lot of shawl quantities within my handspun stash, and maybe it's a little silly to spin more shawl yarn before I knit some more shawls, but it is it is unclear. But that's roughly where I'm leaning right now. I don't know if I want to do something where I end up like spinning the rest of the Jacob, because I ended up deciding to do a smaller project with the Jacob, where I keep the Jacob as is and use it as raw material for carding. I think I might have the situation in which I ended up getting some fiber that isn't even in my stash. Unacknowledged fiber, that it's very dangerous, the unacknowledged fiber. Or if I want to, I don't know, like I have like 2 braids of sock fibers, so that might be fun to do. I don't know, I haven't quite figured it out. And then at the moment, I think I'm leaning towards putting together a sweater combo spin for the Fun Onions Tour de Fleece. So, what would it be? And the nice thing about the Tour de Fleece is that, there's Tour de Fleece, then Tour de Fail, then Tour de Fall, then Tour de Feliz Navidad. That was what we added to the end, was that, the tour can last from late June all the way through Christmas. So, what would it be? But then it's the case where I need to like sit down and look at the fiber and sort of like explode it on the bed and figure out how I'm going to handle everything and manage stuff and that sort of thing. So quite a lot going on. Though maybe it'd be the case, or would it be? It might, like, what's clicking over in my mind right now is like, okay, is there a way for me to hit like worsted weight yarn, so that I can have sort of a cozier hand spun sweater? I don't know. It'd be the case where I know that like the heavier weights are lacking in the stash, so trying to hit that sort of weight might be a little bit better, but it would mean being a bit farther off my default than normal. I know that I am spinning, it feels like I'm spinning the fiber optic thicker than normal, but who knows? But yeah, I'm not quite ready to dive into the Romney yet. Like I probably do need to sort of sit down and maybe figure out sort of a color palette to put together for, would it be? It was probably the case of taking like some of my yarn spool fiber and coming up with some sort of plan, because it's time. It's time to use it. So that's where my mind is at now, but it was the case where I didn't have the space to explode the stash and then put it all back again. And then the other thing that I will probably end up getting started soon is getting a spindle project on. So it's been a while since I needed a spindle project. But what it be? I will. We'll figure something out. It may or may not end up counting for stash dash in the end. But I have hobbledehoy batlings that I would like to spin on the spindle. I may need to sit down and figure out if I want to do combo drafting with them in order to blend the colors a little bit more. Because I don't think I want it to be color blocked necessarily. So I have this guy, which is Gandalf, and has some of the same colors as the Voyager. And so they are all of the same material. So it's organic Colworth, bamboo, tencel, silk, and sparkle. Actually, this one has sparkle and this one doesn't. But there are a couple of different colors in here, so it may be the case where I end up splitting it up in combo drafting. And I might end up splitting this up in combo drafting as well. We shall see. I probably, I don't know. Or if I, yeah, I think I would rather, I haven't decided yet. But I think that this is going to end up being the spindle project, or if it's the case where I decide to combo draft the gray and the bluish go together, we shall see. Or if that's going to be a nightmare with the spindle project, I don't know. But it should be fun. I'm looking forward to finally getting a chance to use these. I got this at SSK a while ago, so seems like it should be time. And this is in total, this is in total 4 ounces of fiber. So what would it be? And because hobbledehoy is ended up closing our business, there's only I can get more to make bigger things. There might even be, say for example, like the option of maybe finding, maybe there is the option of combining like one more braid in order to fill it out a little bit more. I'm not sure, but definitely excited about this, so should be good. There's just so much fibery goodness to be had. What would it be? I just need to decide. So, like, what would it be? So I have like 10 ounces of I have 10 ounces of hip strings buoy to spin. What would it be? I have pounds of yarn spool fiber, so I just need to figure out if there's a good combo spin opportunity there. And then I have a decent amount of like just like fun stuff that I haven't decided what to do with yet. So I will need to decide at some point, but maybe not now. So what it be? So there's plenty of options. I just need to narrow my focus down somewhat. And it may just be where I opt for spinning something that's been in the stash for a long time, just to like clear things out. It might actually be the case where I don't know, I'm trying to think about what it be. So if I look at my hobbledehoy battlings, it may be the case where one option that I could end up doing with it is combining it with some silk that I have. So that could be a lot of fun. And that actually sort of picks up, or the silk I have is sort of like a bright, or would it be sort of, I don't know, probably like a pastel-y turquoise and then like a charcoal. So that would totally go with that stuff. So what would it be? And then that would fill out to, would it be like a proper shawl size? So I could definitely see like a very fun 3-ply with that. So many things, or would be so many things that could happen. Just need to figure out what it is I want. So that is the state of things right now. Would it be? There will probably be quite a lot to talk about next week. It seemed like there was a decent amount to talk about this week too, as you do, but it's time to make dinner. Then after I'm done making dinner, I'll have to figure out what in the world I need to buy groceries wise. It's the case where you have like a rough list put together, but then you need to start getting to the specifics of, do I even have this? So we shall see. What do we already find? To make dinner? Probably do need to make dinner at some point, but what would it be? It's like I'd like to be able to reserve weekends for like big cooking, like the things that are going to take a long time. But I feel like this weekend is not that time. Oh well. So shouldn't be too crazy. Would it be? But hopefully there will be watch this share next week. I'm hopeful. So should be good. So with that, I hope you guys have a lovely week, and I look forward to talking to you guys next week. So